Well, this is slightly concerning on a 130,000 mile truck. What is that? Where's it leaking from? It doesn't leak on the ground though, so maybe not too much of a concern at this point. Huh. Alright, so the GX is coming on 132,000. If you'll see the transmission, typically from park to drive or neutral, there's like a 2-second delay. I don't know if that's normal, but I've been doing some towing with the truck over the years, and it just feels like the transmission's not totally there. I mean, some of the shifts are kind of not lazy, but you feel a little delay, a little hesitation, sometimes a little thump or a thudder, and we'll see if a transmission fluid change will fix the problem. I know this transmission isn't as smooth as the LS430, the 6-speed, but should be a little bit better. So let's see here: drive, neutral, drive, and then you feel like a little, when it hits the gear, it kind of gives you a little bump, bump, bump. And then park, drive, and then it goes. So we'll see what the change does. Hopefully improves it a little bit. Alright, first step, we're going to have to remove this plastic piece again, just like we did for the radiator. Just a bunch of clips and then take it off. And then here's your transmission cooler. The line you're going to be removing is this top line, so there's just a clamp. And then this should, with a little persuasion, ooh, that was a bee on there. Good thing it was dead. Before I take this off, I'm going to grab my my jug. So I got these nice graduated cylinders on Amazon. They're 20 bucks for 4 of them, and they're 70 ounces. So we're going to put this wherever you want it. You can do it in front of the rear bumper, under the truck, whatever. And we're going to need our hose here. So this should be 3/8. See how that goes on there nicely. You can just put this, tuck this line out of the way. And now we're going to run this hose to the jug. So wherever your jug is, mine's going to be down here. Run that hose down there. Okay, as a test, I'm going to start the car, make sure fluid comes out. And it does. So here we've got some fluid in there. It doesn't look too bad. You can still see some of the red in there. But it is a brownish color, brownish reddish color, but like I said, it doesn't look too bad. So what I'm going to do now is basically shoot for about 50 ounces. So we'll let the car run. It's a brownish red. Okay, so what this is doing is essentially pushing out all the old fluid. Now, why didn't I drain the pan first? Well, you don't have to. Like, we're pushing all the fluid out that's already in the pan and everywhere else in the system. Now what we're going to do is go underneath, and we're going to find the fill plug, because technically this is a quote-unquote sealed transmission, but really it's not. This is the fitting we're going to be attaching. This is ATF 113. It's M18 by 1.5, I believe. And then that's going to hook up to this little quick connect, and then that's going to hook up to this. So this is the OMT pressurized fluid pump. So you pour, what we're going to do is we're going to pour exactly 50 ounces of fresh fluid into here. We're going to introduce pressure, pump it, and it's going to force 50 ounces of fluid back into the transmission. And that's it. That's how simple the process is. We'll probably end up doing this a total of 5 times, 5-6 times, 10 to 12 quarts I'd say. But like I said, it's really not that bad. Just a little brown. This was similar to the LS430 I did, which had actually over 350,000 miles. That one was a little bit more brown than this. But either way, I think we'll see some improvement, so putting new fluid in. Alright, so we're on the passenger side here. Now here's the passenger, or the transmission cross member. Here's the cap. So right behind here, you'll see my ratchet and socket. That's a 24 millimeter. It's a special, like, thin wall, stubby 24 millimeter to get this drain plug out, which is kind of hidden here. It's right here. Okay, so what I'm going to do, this is for sure never been off. What we're going to do here is just pop it loose. There we go. Usually this has an O-ring on it, not an actual gasket. You can kind of hear it too, the O-ring creaking. Truck's still hot. I should have waited to cool down, but that'll be important later when we actually check the level. Might be helpful that it actually is a little warmed up. Okay, so it's hot. Hope you can see that a little bit at least. Okay, so here's our fill plug. Here's the O-ring right there. Now, okay, there we go. Alright, so there's our fill port. Now we can attach that quick connect adapter to it. Here's our check port. So there's basically a tube on the end of this. Let's just say the tube goes this high. Well, that's going to be important to check the fluid in the trans pants. This is 5 millimeter, and then this you don't even have to touch the drain because we're just doing it the other way. So I will talk about this in a second. What we can do at this point is just loosen this so we know it'll come off. Okay, that wasn't bad. So that's loose. So really all we have to do now is hook up the pump and more fluid. Okay, here we've got our 50 ounces. It's okay to overfill it a little bit because that will take care of that on the fluid level check. You can always drain extra out, but keep that in mind. So this tool is about 50 bucks from Amazon. Comes with fittings for all sorts of different makes and models. Okay, now at this point all we have to do is pressurize this tank a little bit, and then all the fluid is going to go straight in the trans. And you don't have to jack up the truck. That's the nice thing. I just did my LS430 and that was all on a lift. So you can just let this sit and it'll actually go down on its own. And that's a heck of a lot easier than dealing with the hand pump. Trying to get a hand pump on a quart or something and pumping it in manually. So when this is all in, all we got to do is just keep emptying the dirty and then start the truck again and keep flushing it. Same process again. Start the truck. the oil fill up. It's still brownish. You don't want to go too much because then you'll be sucking air in the pan. So a few seconds is good. And then cut it. Anywhere, typically I like anywhere between 50 and 60 ounces. So I'll do the same thing. I'll wait for this to fully drain. But it's looking like we'll probably put 55 in. Yeah, same story again. This nice red liquid in. And repeat. You can keep doing this until the fluid is like this red coming out of the cooler, but you're probably not going to notice any difference, and you're just going to waste a little bit more money. So on my LS I did 10 quarts. So we'll see how we are at after that amount on here. Pressurize, pump, pump, pump. Drain, 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 drain. Okay, start car again. Drain, drain, drain. Still nasty and brownish. Okay, looks like about 55, just shy of 55 this time. There's our 55 going in. Alright, drain again. Reddish, but still more brown. You'll see it. You'll see a definite difference. Okay, so we got 55 on the dot again. Okay, 55. Going back in the pump. Okay, there we go. Draining that last batch. Some people say you should go through the gears, you know, like low, 2, 3, 4, drive, neutral, reverse, park, go, kind of cycle through them. I tried that on the LS, and it looked like some reddish fluid went through, so I don't know if pathways change in the valve body, but either way, doing it this method, I mean, all the fluid is coming out, so I don't know why you'd want to cycle it through the gears other than if there's any kind of debris, possibly. Stuck in the valve body, that by cycling the gears it would kind of flush it out, per se. So I don't know, what do you guys think? Does it matter if you just leave it in park or go through the gears? Then here you can kind of see a little bit of dirt paths or dirt lines, a little bit of debris on the bottom, but other than that there's nothing, no metal, no solids really, just very small particles on the bottom there. They threw a whole case of 6. So it's a little reddish, you can actually see more than it was before. I'm doing pretty well to nail it right on 55 ounces somehow, so yeah, we're getting there. We are definitely getting there. Okay, here's at 55 ounces going in. Alright, this one I'm going to go through the gears for you, so I'll go park, reverse all the way to the bottom, and then up again. Okay, looks like we've got about... See, it's getting red. It's getting more red by each iteration of this. Do it one more time. Okay, just showed a 60. It did seem already that shifting between gears is a lot quicker, so I'm getting excited here to do a test drive. Alright, 60 ounces going in. We got one box empty, 1 quart, and then we're starting on the second box here. Actually lied, I had like maybe 1.5 quarts out of these 3 bottles. So for one case, 2 quarts plus another 1.5 quarts or so in. Just finishing up filling this one. Once that's done, we can do another round. Alright, here we go. I'm going to go through the gears again. Just keep it consistent. How are we looking? Yeah, it's getting there. Still dark, but look at like just the color of it. It's like more of a maroon burgundy compared to that brown we had originally. So yeah, we're getting there. Okay, we got that magic 55 number again. I'll go fill it up. ATF WS. What is it exactly? Genuine transmission fluid. Advanced ATF designed by Toyota. Tested and improved by Toyota. So essentially I think this is just thinner than the old Type 4 ATF and the Dextron and all that. So it's important to use obviously what your transmission calls for. So we've got 6, 7, 8 plus the 1.5 or whatever, and then another probably 1.5 here. I do have a story as I'm pumping this up. I told this in the my LS430 video when I did the same thing, but I went to the dealer back in like 2010. I brought him 2 cases of ATF WS for my LS. I told him I needed, I made sure that they knew what they were doing. I told him I wanted the ATF flush. I've got 2 cases in the trunk. And so it was this huge thing where I dropped off my car and then I left and I waited and etc, etc. Well, I get back and they say, well, we only do, what's in the pan and what comes out. So it was like 2 quarts or something, or 3 quarts. And I was like, I wanted them all done, just same process as this. They're like, yeah, we don't do it that way. If you want us to put it back on the rack and do it again, we can. So it was that time, probably in 2010, where I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do all my stuff, no matter what it is. So, not to say I didn't do it beforehand, but I try to leave like the more complicated things that involved like a special pump or tools or tech stream to the dealer, but nope, not doing it. So that's my little story of the day. Alright, we should be pretty close after this. We've only got 3 quarts left, so I might as well go through the rest of the case, because we can always buy more. But one more flush at least, maybe 1.5. Okay, I'll do it in the light so you can kind of see a little bit better of the color coming out of here. What do you say? It's pretty close, huh? That is pretty good. I must say, that is pretty good. I think I'm happy with that. Oops. Yeah, look at what's coming out of there. It's pretty cool. So I'm going to stop it there. We're going to put another 50 ounces in. And then I'll show you the most important part of this whole thing. And that involves the check tube. Alright, it's impossible not to make a mess. Like, you're going to get splashes everywhere. There's going to be fluid on all sorts of stuff. It just can't avoid it. So here's our last 50 ounces going in. We've got maybe 80% of this quart left, and then a full quart here. So you're going to probably need at least 1 extra quart, so keep that in mind. I'll fill this up, and then I'll show you the procedure. Okay, here we got TechStream. Now there's two cables. First one is the Mongoose, or the authentic. There's another one that's the authentic TechStream cable. There's also the eBay cables that are like $19. Big difference is this doesn't data log in real time. You're gonna have like a 5 to 10 second delay on data. The other one is real time. For some strange reason, I can only get my tire pressure sensor computer read with this one and not the Mongoose one. I'm not sure why that is. Alright, so we gotta plug in the cable, turn the ignition on. We're going to do a setup and then select our VIM. That's basically which module you're using. So here we're using the green Mongoose. And okay. We can actually start the truck at this point too once it connects. If it connects. What's going on here? Connect. Okay, and it should pop up with, it's going to read the ECU, so it knows what year it is, and all that stuff. We don't have KDSS, and then next. Now you can either, there's three ways of doing this. First, so here, engine and ECT, and then we're going to start it once it connects here. Okay, actually we're going to go first to data list over here. It's going to show us all our live data. Alright, so like I was saying, the green cable, all these values update in real time, so it's very handy. Now the one we're concerned about here is AT oil temperature 1. This has to be at 115, between 115 and 130. In order to check the fluid level. So the truck was already driven about an hour ago. Typically this will take probably 20-25 minutes to come up to temperature if you're just letting it idle. So we're good here. I need to check on this AT oil temperature 2 though, to see which one that is before we move forward, but I'm pretty sure it's AT temp 1. Okay, so after some quick googling I learned that AT temperature 2 is used for shift control timing. But the one we're concerned about is 1. This has to be between 115 and 130 degrees. So, what we need to do next is, we're going to go ahead and open our check valve here. This may seem crazy, you're opening a drain valve when the engine is on, but I assure you, it's what you're supposed to do. So, nothing, well, it should dribble out of here. So, you see we basically have nothing coming out of there. So if that's the case, we need to add more fluid, a half a quart. Alright, so let's say you don't know how much you put in, you don't know how much came out, you have no idea. Well, it's going to be a long process for you, because you got to wait for it's 120 degrees, and then we're going to put fluid in, and hopefully 15 ounces is enough to start that fluid coming out. We'll see. If not, we're actually quite a bit under. Okay, still pumping. This is about 15 ounces. Oh, look at that. Right on cue. So 15 ounces was enough to hit that tube. Now we gotta wait for this to slow to a dribble, not a stream. Once it's dribbling out, we're gonna put the plug back in and job done. Okay, so we're still at 124 degrees, exactly where we want to be. And like I was saying, there's three ways to do this. Use TechStream with the cable here. You can use an OBD dongle, a Bluetooth thing that uses a phone app, and then all you need to do is find this AT oil temp 1. Same thing. There's also a way to, if you jump 2 wires, I don't remember what they are, but they're in my LS430 video, and then you go between neutral and drive a bunch of times, then the D light will be your signal when it hits the right temperature. But it's 2024, everyone should at least have the app. An app, there's a lot of them out there. Alright, so that's it for me. I'm going to take out the fill apparatus, put the fill plug back in, hose down some stuff, and then we'll go for a test drive. Remember, when we first started, the delay from park or reverse to drive was a couple seconds. So here we're in park, drive, instant. It's instant. That's beautiful. How are our shifting, our shift points? Yeah, much smoother. You don't feel like the thump or the actual shift of the transmission. It's much smoother now. This is very exciting. I'd highly recommend doing this, especially if you got over 100,000 miles. I know they say it's a sealed transmission and it's a lifetime fluid, but it's really not. Drive to reverse to drive. Reverse, instant. Less than a second. Before it was definitely in the 2 to 3 or more second range, and then neutral, drive, boom. Instantly goes in drive. So if you remember in my serpentine belt and radiator video, I said I accidentally did like a little neutral drop. Well, for some reason I was, in different gear, like a lower gear. Then I went to neutral and I was drive, and I was waiting, hit the gas, and it kind of jumped. And jumped my serpentine belt. So that's it. We got our nice smooth shifts back. Feels brand new. I'm a happy guy. So thanks everyone for watching, and go change your transmission fluid. Later.